here is how to quiet your mind. You have to learn to not identify with your thoughts. And I know easier said than done, but what that means is we all have thoughts about all these different things. We have these negative emotions that we don't want to feel, and we only want to feel specific emotions. We want to feel happy, we want to feel grateful, we want to feel fulfilled, and we want to avoid feeling stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, fearful, etc. But when you learn to not identify with your thoughts, realize this: you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, because the mind will always try to exaggerate things through your thoughts and emotions to try and force you to pay attention, because we have this animal mind. This mind has been around for as long as humans have been around, and it hasn't evolved much since then. And the reason why we have all these fearful thoughts that are usually irrational, all of these fears, is because of the animal mind. When, a long time ago, when we first were starting out as humans, and we had a lot of dangers back then that we don't have now. We had physical threats to our safety. We actually had to figure out how to survive, how to get food, how to get water, how to have shelter, and we had to protect ourselves from all these different things. Like, it could be wild animals like snakes or tigers or whatever it could be, from other tribes and whatnot. And so we had this mind that could help protect us from those dangers. It would say, hey, watch out for that, watch out for this. And so our mind will always look for things that could hurt us or things that could be a threat to our safety. And that's why we fear and worry so much. It's because this mind is designed to keep us safe. It's not designed to make you happy. Realize that. Your mind is not designed to make you happy. That's your job. You have to override your mind and do certain things that will allow you to feel happy regardless of what's going on up here. Because I love this saying: when you're in your head, you're dead. And what it means, what that phrase means is, when you're caught up here, when you're focusing, when you're thinking about all your thoughts, and when you're entertaining all of these fearful thoughts and all the things that you don't want to happen, then you're identifying with those thoughts. And so you get so caught up in here that you hardly notice everything else that's going on around you. And that can be a dangerous thing, and we have to, nobody really taught us how to let go of our thoughts, because we have to realize that we're not our thoughts. Thoughts are simply loops. You'll notice that the thoughts that you have consistently are patterns. They're patterns, just like behavior is patterns. There's thought patterns as well, because our thoughts produce our emotions, and then that produces our behavior. But if you learn to not identify with those thoughts, because your thoughts are not unique, everyone has had these fearful thoughts about business, or about, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money to start my own business, or whatever. Everyone's had those thoughts before. Millions of people throughout history have had the same thoughts you have. And so realize that your thoughts are not you. It's not you who's thinking them. You are the one who are being aware of those thoughts. You are the ones who are noticing those thoughts. So you are not your mind. Your mind will always exaggerate things. It's like an overworried mother. And it'll drive you crazy if you don't learn how to not identify with it, how to cope with it in a way that's healthy. And so how you disassociate from your thoughts and your mind is, first, like I said, realize that you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts. And then on top of that, it just takes practice. You got to sit back, and whenever any thoughts come up, just, instead of reacting to them, instead of indulging in those negative thoughts and those negative emotions, just sit back and just listen to the thought, just watch it go by. And you can be, no judgment, no attachment to it whatsoever. Just sit back, almost like you're watching a movie, and just notice that thought. Sit above it, get elevation on it. And I kind of like to picture myself sitting on like this tall cliff, and then I see like the thought. In this case, it's like a picture of a cloud or whatever in my head. But anyways, I just see the thought from a far enough distance away, and that just seems to help me gain perspective. It helps me realize that, hey, yes, I am not my thoughts. This is simply another thought loop. This is simply the mind doing what it does. And I'm okay with that. No judgment, again, on those thoughts or emotions whatsoever. because it's okay, we call certain emotions negative and certain ones positive because of us judging them. And we're meant to experience the full spectrum of emotions. That includes fear, stress, anxiety, but also that includes happiness, fulfillment, and peace and gratitude and all of that. But when we learn to not identify with those feelings, when we learn to just accept them instead of resisting them, then they will pass. Realize all your thoughts pass. You will not be thinking what you're thinking right now. Within the next 2 hours from now, I guarantee it, you will be thinking about something else. And then you may have this thought pattern come up again where you are thinking about what you're thinking, what you're thinking about right now. But it will never last. They always fade away. Your thoughts always change. They're like the clouds in the sky. They always go by no matter what. It's like the cars driving by. They always go by and they keep going by. And so we have to learn not to be attached to them. We have to learn also not to be attached to certain emotions too, because fear and stress and all that can serve us in so many ways. And we don't want to get attached to them too, or we don't want to be overly attached to certain emotions, to the emotions we want to feel, because then that limits our experience of life. Life becomes much more exciting when you experience the full broad spectrum of emotions, rather than just limiting yourself to try and only experience certain ones. And so when you learn to not identify with your thoughts, that will change your entire reality. And it takes practice. This is not something that I've mastered by any means. It's still an ongoing process. It will be an ongoing process for the rest of my life. But the more you do it, then the easier it becomes. And when you start with one, when you have awareness, that's the biggest thing. When you have awareness of it, try this out. Try to not identify with your thought. Just tell yourself, oh, hey, that's just the animal mind. That's just the mind doing its thing. Because it's never going to stop. You're never not going to have fear or stress or worry. Those will always come up. But we have to learn how to live with those and not let them affect us as negatively, because most of the time people cling on to that and find other things to worry about, and that never helps you in any way. It's okay to experience those emotions, but you don't want to cling on to them. You don't want to hang on to them and create that as your identity, because that never served you, that never helps you. So it's important to experience them, let go, and then, like I said, the emotions will pass, new emotions will take their place, new thoughts will take their place, and the cycle just continues over and over again. But practice not identifying with your thoughts. So I hope this video finds you well. I know this is more of a spiritual video. This is not something that's really talked about much, but it can be so important to realize that you are not your thoughts. And hopefully that gives you some relief too, that you are so much more than your thoughts. Your higher self is so much more than these thoughts of the mind. And when you learn to let go and not identify with the mind, then your life will really change. You will experience more gratitude, more fulfillment. You'll be more at peace more often, because you realize, hey, I'm not, what I'm thinking about is not me. So that can give you some peace. So hope this video finds you well. Let me know down below if this helped you at all. Make sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.